Sunday.
It's going to be my turn to do the intro, so I wonder what trend am I going to start this time around. I may just cheap out and figure out something quick, and we'll see what the next person comes up with. Because these were...
time to start your trilogy.
Yeah. No.
It's fine. It's fine. You got like 7 days. Plenty of time. Not a problem.
All right, it's true. It's plenty of time. We'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll do the editing for the video later, and we'll post it on the podcast later. Not a problem.
Monday.
Okay, gotta get home. Gotta edit the video. Gotta put up the podcast. And then figure out an intro.
Ooh, steak for dinner. Awesome.
Tuesday.
Holy crap, what was in that steak? Oh my god, I overslept. Oh god, I gotta get to work. Oh, right. I'm eating Orange and New Wave today for lunch. Okay. Do it when I get home. Oh man, that was a lovely lunch. Okay, let's post the new video for DVD. Get home, gotta stream, and that's it.
Wednesday.
Man, first of the months always suck at work.
Okay. Gotta edit the podcast. Gotta put up the YouTube video. Gotta think of something.
Hey, honey, I'm home. Ooh, dinner. Nice.
Thursday.
Oh, is my wife putting sleeping pills in my food? What the hell?
All right, time for work. Okay, stream day. Gotta put up a DVD video. All right, I'm good. I'm fine. It's fine. This is fine.
Friday.
All right. Oh, yeah, today's the day. I gotta figure out the intro.
Hey, honey, I'm home. Oh, yeah, Big Brother. Yeah, we'll watch that right now. Yeah, Lower Decks. No, yeah, we'll definitely watch. You got, okay. Gotcha, honey.
Saturday.
I haven't posted the podcast or the YouTube video. What the hell's wrong with me?
Sunday.
God damn it. Intro. What am I gonna do?
Just fucking keep it simple.
Yeah. Okay. I'm talking to myself, right? That's a thing. No, Eldurrino already did that. God damn it, Eldurrino. You take all the good ideas. Fuck it. We're going back to basics.
Coming in from all over the world, 4 voice actors come together to produce a podcast by voice actors for voice actors, sharing their day-to-day experience, trying to leave their mark in this profession. This is Cold Read, a podcast chronicling our experiences, whether good or bad, to help you, the listener, in your journey in voice acting. We don't claim to be experts, but by us sharing our experiences, but we hope by passing on our knowledge, we will make your journey that much easier. With your hosts, Renara Hawke.
We're getting into crunch time for Skywind. Have to get more lines in. It's a real crunch now. I don't want to get into some rambly, tangenty thing. I'm sorry. I ramble too much. I'm sorry. Just never give up is the main thing.
Princess Pashley.
Oh shit, that's awkward.
Eldurrino.
Zamoody, I don't know if you need voices or whatever for this week's intro, but if you want like a meth addict, something high-pitched like this, well, I can do you for that. Tell some ridiculous story like the time I blew my toes clean off with a shotgun.
And Zamoody.
Welcome back to Killer Cold Read. This week we will be looking at Eldurrino, and damn it, this is the wrong project. I've been hit.
With special guest host, Raven. No. Really? Didn't we? Oh, it's fine. And Birnam.
Okay, fine. Frikrin, how to speak it?
And now, let's roll tape.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Cold Read the Podcast. Thank you for those that are here. I decided to do this week's intro, and hopefully this will not spawn the same thing over and over again like it did last time. Thank you to Birnam for the voices.
Hi.
Yes, well done. Also, fuck you.
Yeah, no, that's the correct combination of response.
I mean, you're not wrong, but oh, dear.
And of course, thank you, Ravenman, for the days of the week. It's exactly what I needed, so thank you. There you are.
Oh, that was so good.
That was everybody's
Thank you,
wondering.
Zamoody.
Yeah, everybody was wondering what I was up to. That was basically it. And it's pretty much a representation of my week too, for the most part. There's a lot of exaggeration. I know I threw my wife under the bus, so sorry, honey, if you're watching. Hopefully, you're still working. But yeah, welcome to Cold Read. We are here, and we're gonna talk about some stuff. But before we do that, for the most part, we do tend to check in with everybody and see how your week was. So, Renara Hawke, how was your week? Hello.
Well, it's no, my Dunmer lines are now finished, so we're not having to talk about that anymore. Well, I've recorded them all. They are now being cut, and we'll see if retakes are needed. If not, we'll see. I have been getting tutelage from Eldurrino on how to lower my voice to be able to do the orc. So yes, it is. So my voice is getting lower / I can just about reach the bottom range, which is good. I'm getting there. Other than that, I've been pretty all right then. That's about it.
Oh, it's very good, very good. Well, glad to hear it. This reminded me of Michael Dorn, I believe, the gentleman that played Worf on Star Trek. He started with his voice super high, and the more and more he did the character, his natural voice kept going lower and lower. So keep that.
I have a
in
feeling
mind.
my voice is yeah, I'm probably gonna end up doing that.
Well, let's check in on the other side. Dorino, how was your week, sir?
It was okay. Pretty plain Jane. Not really a whole lot going on this week. I got just a couple of auditions in. Writing more for the rock opera thinger, which has been fun. I'm really happy with where that's going. As Renara mentioned, I also got to do a voice lesson with her, trying to teach her how to basically take her natural voice and flip it on its head and do the exact opposite, which is, it's going to be a challenge, Renara, but I have the utmost confidence that you'll be able to do it.
I'm gonna do it. It's gonna take ages, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, that's really about it.
Nice. Let's check in with our guest host down there, Birnam. Birnam, again, thank you for the audio. That was exactly what I was looking for. How has your week been, sir?
Yeah, it's been an impressions week. It's, you requested that from me, and at the same time I was doing Kermit the Frog impressions over on TikTok.
I saw that. It was awesome.
And so yeah, that's been kind of the flavor of the week. Other than that, just usual parenting stuff.
Oh, congrats on the TikTok. You're getting close to that 1,000 followers. So
I am getting close. Yeah, it's the kind of D&D community on there is really good, and I'm considering doing similar sort of content with the impersonating the D&D content creators on there. But we'll see how that goes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Well, you got Renara to flip you off, so now you might get an idea how that's gonna go.
That's great views. It's on TikTok. Get enough people angry with you.
Yeah. That's
I'm not angry.
a little
That's all.
controversy goes a long way. So for sure. As for me, my week's been okay. Obviously, it's been a super busy week. We've been in the middle of upgrading computers at work, so I get home and literally I'm so tired that I just decide it's hard for me to do anything else. I try to get ahead of my series, which is the Killer Case Files, which has been doing very, very well on TikTok. Very happy about that. So hopefully that continues. Voice-wise, have not had a chance to get in there. It's just, like I said, this week has been tough. So hopefully we'll get into, I need to finish off some projects still, and then after that, we're going to see where some auditions are going. Haven't heard anything from the commercial. Haven't heard anything from the, there was a Mexican kids program that was interested and put me in again in the short list. But I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure, Dorino, you'll see that you get put on the short list and then nothing really comes out of it. It's nice for you to get that little hash mark for you when you're moving on. But with that, we've decided to look into because we review Reddit and we try to see what the current like flavor of the week is when it comes to what's going on. We came across a particular post, and this is by u/deep-dark-boys, posted it a day ago in the voice acting community. I'm going to go ahead and read this verbatim, and then we'll go from there. Hi, voice acting community. I'm at a very important crossroads, so I want to thank you in advance for reading. I am an amateur freelance voice actor. I typically work on Fiverr. My rate is $5 per 250 words. I got a comment on that, but we'll go there. And if the client wants the work to be done inside of 48 hours, I double the rate. Since I'm not a professional, I feel that this is a comfortable rate that works for both me and my clients. Recently, I landed my first major gig. I won an audition to become the new voice of a YouTube channel that recaps films. They had to switch from an AI-generated voice in order to avoid demonetization. The owner of the channel is paying me $40 per script. The script are always over 2,000 words, which means I'm operating at a cut rate. I figure maybe it's worth it given the work is consistent. But there's the thing. He needs one of these scripts done, 10 to 15 minutes of fully polished audio, every single day. And he only gets them to me 24 hours before he needs them back. So in addition to cutting my rate for him, I'm also getting no bonus for an absurd turnaround times. He's now saying that he wants me to record my face for every video as well. He wants me to at least set up a green screen and look at the camera to recite the unique intro for each vid. And now he's saying he'd like it if I did picture-in-picture for the entirety of the video, which makes no sense because then I can't have my mic in its proper recording space. And I have to nail everything in one take. He's effectively got me running the channel on my own at this point, and paying me what feels like a tiny fractional amount for it. The videos will get more than 1 million hits. I'm not sure what that equates to on YouTube profit-wise, but I feel it's a good deal more than $40. I don't want to be greedy, but I also don't want to get taken for a ride here. I have a full-time job outside of voice acting. Doing these scripts every day eats up the majority of my free time. Thanks again for everyone reading. I've only been at this for about 8 months now, and it's important for me to find guidance. Signed, Deep Dark Boys. Yeah. Initial thoughts.
Extortion is the word that comes to mind. That's also false advertising, because he's basically gone, this is one thing, and then hooked him in and gone, okay, but I want you to do all of this, and kind of, because I'm paying you, I expect you to do this. That's not how it works. Like, that's to me, it's that's sort of like bait fish hooking. Or at the very least, when I heard just the extent it's changed, because I think I might know what this is, because I think I voted for this guy because
Okay.
Ren Ramble's time.
Well, no, that's fine. So let's start over real quick, because you think you might know some background to this.
A little bit.
Okay.
I think I do. If this is the same person that I think it is, I know a little bit of backstory. I watch a lot of these movie recap type things, and it's what he's talking about, basically, where they take the premise of a movie, they shorten it down to like 20 minutes, and then it's basically just read out for you. Mm-hmm. I like it. It's interesting. Recently, one of the ones that I was watching put up a sort of like in the community section of YouTube, a poll. They linked to a video where they had everyone say the same amount of time, same script, everything, and we got to basically vote on which voice we liked. I voted on that, and I believe it could be the channel that I'm thinking of, or it could be another one that I'm watching, but that's the side of it that I saw up to this. Then reading that, going, but he's used the term recap in there, and that's quite specific to only a few of the channels that I'm watching. So I think it seemed like stars aligned kind of thing. And me reading that has gone, oh my God, what is this person doing?
Right.
Because first of all, that's my experience on the beforehand of this. I didn't realize. Well, also they're changing the AI because it's because it used to be an AI voice, but they're changing it because of the YouTubers demonetizing AI voices on YouTube now.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's actually happening on YouTube right now. Okay.
It's
I didn't know that either.
It's I don't know why. I think it's just it's not either I don't actually know why they're doing that.
Yeah, or how.
Well, I'll tell you what. While we're discussing this is why we have internet. So let's go ahead and take a peek at that while we're discussing. So obviously, I mean, okay, so the guy's offering $5 for 250 words, and this is on Fiverr. Very standard rate, especially if you're starting. But let me tell you, 250 words for $5 is still super, super low.
Yeah,
I agree.
I was
going to say
worried.
that as well. Is that I think $5 for 200 plus words is not really acceptable. I understand wanting to give a fair rate, even if you don't believe that you're a professional, but I don't think that. I mean, you think about it, 250 words is probably about 10 minutes or so in the booth, plus another 20 minutes just to edit everything together. That's technically a half hour, and you're telling me you want to work for half an hour for $5. Nobody wants to do that.
That's less than minimum wage.
Way less.
Right. So
way less.
I mean, you can feel free to do as you wish. However, I would definitely say increase that up to maybe 15 or 20 per 250 words, just to be fair with yourself. In regards to the scripts, I think $40 per a script that's 2,000 plus words, very low ball. Very much so. That should be a minimum 100, I would say.
Per day.
And don't be, well, yeah, especially when it's a daily thing, and don't, like, yeah, you're basically saying you're working for an additional $40 a day. That's not okay. I would also say that if they're asking you to do more on top of just reading, putting yourself on cam, putting yourself in front of a green screen, using picture-in-picture, don't be afraid to ask for more compensation for that, especially if you have to buy the equipment yourself. Just because it's not like that's extra work that you now have to do, especially if you have a full-time job. You have a limited amount of time to get all this stuff done. You definitely should be asking for more, and if they don't agree, then that's what it is. You say sayonara and move on to the next thing.
I mean, even if it was, say, like, because there is such a thing as royalty share, if they would throw in a royalty share on top, that might make it a little bit more worth it. I mean, if you're gonna give me 5%, 10% of whatever the video makes, in addition to the agreed upon rate, that might sweeten the pot a little bit.
I think. Oh no, go Birnam.
Yeah, that's kind of along the lines of what I was thinking earlier about it. Is, he mentions that it's a popular series and it has lots of millions of views on the videos, but you need to be clear going straight in the gate. In any of these situations, are you getting paid for basically? Are you getting paid for how much your time is worth, or are you getting paid for how much the finished product is worth? If you're being paid for your time, you establish what you're doing in that time, and you come up with a fair a rate that reflects the amount of work that you're putting in for your time. If it's being judged on the quality of the finished product, then you're more likely to go by a more like a partnership and getting a proportion of how well it does on a financial level. So it seems like there's a little bit of confusion in there, because it's being brought up that it's a popular series and that he's only getting $40 per episode. And per episode means that it's not even reflecting the amount of time. It could take half an hour to do everything for the episode. It could take 2 days to do everything for the episode. And either way, he's only getting $40 for it.
Yeah. And keep in mind, it's maybe 10 to 15 minutes per video. You're going to multiply that maybe times 6 just to even get the recording in, and you got to edit it down. You're going to have retakes. And then obviously the communication with this person seems to be a little on the rough side. So that adds on to your wheelhouse of what you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, and the being given more and more tasks and more responsibility really kind of well, the first red flag was definitely that, you know, he was essentially won the opportunity to work for this guy. It's you know, that always sets off an alarm for me when it's like, hey, you can win this opportunity to work for me, and it's like, no, you mean you're having an interview and you're picking the, but anyway, the so the other sorry, I lost what I was going to say. Yeah,
It's cool because I think there's this added layer of there's the security of this is a regular thing, and I think being new to the game, I think he might be thinking, oh, I've got something regular, and having that security in an industry that is not secure. Like artistry is not a secure line of work. Things come up and things like that. This is why we all say have a stable job as well. And so finding that he has one being able to be on a steady job to me sets him up for this. I've got him now. I can do. It's the extortion part of it, and I think it's been set up that way. At the very least, it seems that the person who is running this channel has set up this audition process / whatever it is, to then be able to say, right, I need you to do all of these things now. And I think having that fear of not having that security is why it's becoming but to me, I'd always say it's quality over quantity, and I would rather be on a small project and do a really good job on that one project, have it end after a couple of months and move on to something else, than stay on the same thing, do so much work, not see nearly enough of the money that should be being paid to him with how this seems to be going. And it just seems to me that it's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. Like, just, raise your rates. If he wants you to do that much work, you deserve to be paid much, much more, is what I would say. And if he's not going to do that, then they can go find someone else. Because it's not worth his sanity and his time doing something like that if it's not going to hugely pay off in the long run. Because everyone's mental health and well-being should take precedent above anything. So that's what I have to say about that.
No, and that's fine. Okay, so let me ask you this. You're going to turn away this particular job. Unfortunately, there are people that would accept this rate and would accept this responsibility. Probably not people that have full-time jobs.
Right.
And now they're going to move forward. Of course, clout does not pay the rent. We all know that.
No.
It's the beginning job. I can see both sides of this. Number one, he's getting lowballed super, super hard.
Yeah.
A strategy could be do a couple episodes, try to do the best that you can, and then try to renegotiate a higher price.
I mean, even going into it, I would have renegotiated immediately. Like, sure, it seems all well and fine that you win an opportunity to work for someone, but I mean, upon that, you should know it is a job that you're getting into. It is something that you should be discussing as if you're talking about it with an employer as to what work you would be doing, what the compensation is going to be, how much time you're going to be putting in. Like, it really comes down to the business side of the entertainment industry. I don't know about how long it takes for these people or these videos to get to 1 million views, but if I recall correctly, and I don't know if this is accurate, so take this with a grain of salt, but 1 million views, I believe, is approximately $1,000, not including the ad revenue, which usually ends up being with a good portion more. Like, that's what YouTube relies on mostly, or rather creators rely on mostly is that ad revenue.
So it generally goes per mil, and per mil, I think right now, depending on where your channel lies, goes from like 25 cents, I think, to 15, I think it is. And it all depends on, where your particular video is ranged. So if we were to say that times 10, so maybe it's like $250 right now. It's not even as much as you might think as it used to be. But obviously the video continues and the revenue keeps going, and that's the nice thing about putting these out. Let me answer the original question when it comes to demonetization. Yes, using an AI voice can demonetize your video. And I'll read this again. AI speech is counted as programmatically created, or in other words, computer-generated content. This is a violation of the repetitious content section of the AdSense content quality guidelines. This is why you can't use AI voices in those videos without getting demonetized.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which I wonder if that's why I got called AI on that one particular YouTube series.
Maybe.
Sure.
Maybe.
Okay, going back to this poor particular individual. And we've all been there. We've all been in those projects that start as A, and then all of a sudden morph into something that we absolutely had, all of a sudden, we need to show our face.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have pictures taken.
And that's the thing, that from a public perspective, eventually it seems to reach the point where, as far as the public is concerned, as far as the viewers are concerned, these are this guy's videos.
Mm-hmm.
He's the voice that they're hearing, he's the face that they're seeing. But he's getting paid a penny, and some other guy who's off screen is just raking in all the money. And with each additional
side hustle.
with each additional responsibility, and the more he feels like, I'm just the one running this channel, it reminds me of someone in a podcast I read listened to in a podcast years and years ago, was talking about to always be suspicious when you're in a creative partnership with someone, and that other person says, "And I'll be the ideas guy," because the real truth is, ideas are worthless by themselves and easy to come by. The execution of an idea is what has worth, and that's what takes time and skill to develop and to turn into something that can then be monetized or can then be considered having worth. So if he's just being tossed these scripts, but all of the production is on him, then he is bringing all of the worth to this project. He's the one who's working. Yes, there will be other sort of optimization and YouTube-y businessy things that are going on behind the scenes, but without the content, that doesn't happen. It's the worth is what this person is bringing to the table, so we should be getting way more just on that alone. Because if he walks, and then the guy needs to find someone else. Maybe he'll find someone else. It's certainly if he's clever and kind of manipulating people into these situations to begin with.
I had something. Yeah, it happened to me slightly. I think that's what Zamoody was trying to say earlier.
Oh yeah.
Because I got auditioned for a project. Zamoody recommended me to this guy, and I was just sort of like, hey, yeah, no, cool, let's do a thing. And then he started asking for pictures of my wardrobe. He wanted to dress me. He wanted to base the character off of me. And it's why I say just drop it whilst it's not affected, not actually hurt you, because those sorts of things are not worth it in the long run. So, I mean, that's why, because of my own personal experiences, that's why I say this is not worth it. And if he raises his rates and the guy actually goes, okay, yeah, I'll pay you more, and then he takes into account the fact that he has another job and maybe one script every 2 days, if he really wants this person to voice his stuff, he'd be willing to compromise. If he's not willing to compromise, maybe that should say something about that partnership, as you were saying, Birnam, that if the partnership is rocky and unstable to start with, that could affect the product that gets put out as well, and two, that's going to affect probably both people in the long run in their careers. So that's that.
we need to work on how you end your sentences there, Renara.
Yeah.
I have the same problem. I usually end my sentences with comma but or comma so. I did want to bring attention to a comment that Raven had made in chat. It says, it's not even necessarily a phenomenon unique to voice acting. I've had a bunch of experiences in theater that started out as A, but eventually morphed into E, and the director or directors went on to demand that I reorganize my schedule or cancel conflicts, as if I'd been signed on for E all along, lesson being sometimes you've got to put your foot down and demand that your time be respected and valued, even if that means that person now has to think about going separate ways. And I 100% agree. You should know when you sign up for a project exactly what you're getting into. And sometimes the case may be that the person doesn't fully know what they plan on doing. And, you know, sometimes that happens, especially in the entertainment industry, but they need to be able to work with you, and you need to be able to recognize, okay, I'm doing more, I should be compensated more, or you need to evaluate your own self-worth a bit more. Starting off with the Fiverr thing, $5 for 250 words, you're very much lowballing yourself even as a beginner. Highly recommend increasing that rate. I lost my train of thought because I had to read that.
No,
comment,
and you're absolutely right. Yeah, because I mean, everybody lowballs on Fiverr with the expectation, or not the expectation, but the hope that you're going to level up, because you start at level 0 on Fiverr.
Right.
And level 0 is no exposure from Fiverr, no representation, no push, no nothing. You are not going to get discovered unless somebody either looks for you directly or just completely, you know. And after like 6 months, I think I finally started getting pushed up. And I had a ridiculous amount of words too for like $5, only because I had the same idea. But then you're going to run into those people that are going to take advantage of that. And that's really, really something that you need to look out for. And this is something that obviously this person's starting out. He wants to carve his way. He wants to, you know, make a name for himself, and a million sub or a million view, because that's just view on a channel is a lot. Because they probably have at least 100,000, 200,000, if not more, subscribers in order to be able to generate that. And again, it's great. It's a great concept to put your name out there, but sometimes the sacrifice is just too big.
I would, as with any other job, especially if you're auditioning or trying to secure employment with a high-profile YouTube channel, certainly do your research about not only the channel, but the type of compensation that they make in turn. YouTube tries their best to hide this because they don't like sharing their monetization whatevers, but there are people out there that talk about it. There's articles, there's videos. Do your research, find out how much this person actually makes. You should definitely evaluate your self-worth prior to doing that, because I feel like, especially when you're 8 months in, I don't know how many gigs you've landed, and I understand you want to try and keep it a little bit on the cheaper side so that people will be more interested in finding you. But again, evaluate your self-worth, figure out how much you believe that your time is worth, and don't be afraid to start off a little bit high and then work your way down, not the other way around. And then after that, I would look at how much they are actually making, because there's many statistics out there that will tell you approximately how much someone is making from each of their YouTube videos. That way you'll know if these crazy demands are even worth your time. And then again, if this person's not willing to cooperate with you or work with you in some way, I would just drop it and move on to the next thing, because it isn't worth your time, at least from my personal opinion.
Yeah, and I think when you're figuring out, how much they're making off of your work, what you're really, if you're trying to negotiate for a better rate and whatnot, what you're really trying to figure out is how much your time is worth to them.
Yeah.
And then working from there, because again, if you walk, they have nothing. But if they want to keep making that money, they need to keep you on. That's the core of the negotiation.
Right.
And I mean, here we are again. It's just there's a side of voice acting, or a side in general, because you're putting yourself out there and you're trying to just again carve your way, that people love to take advantage of that. And this is how new people that are going to go well, they tend to burn out, because they're going to look at it and it's like, this isn't worth it. And that's exactly what happened to me with Fiverr. It's not worth for me to sit in there for an hour to pump out, a 10-minute script and only earn $5 out of it. It's so hard.
Yeah, and when
why
you're
I-
describing
Nope.
that model, sorry,
That's okay.
when you're describing that model of how Fiverr works, and you have all these people at level 0 lowballing their work and stuff, in the hope that these people who are going there for basically for a steal in terms of hiring talent, is that a system that has been set up to benefit the people trying to get their name out there, or has it been set up to benefit the people hiring them? And it sounds way more like it's the latter.
What was that, Renara?
Pyramid scheme. MLMs is what it sounds like, because that's what they
Little
do.
bit.
But it's kind of also why I picked. I struggled a lot, as you guys know, on trying to figure out what I should be worth paying. It's why I chose to go by word, because rather than by line, because a line could be from like small to really long. Like through my work with these large scripts on Skywind, yes, I talk about it a lot. But through that, it's like I've seen that sometimes a line can be a paragraph long because NPCs can talk for a while. So that's why I'm like, per word makes it not only very easy to calculate for both people involved, but 2, it then is reflective of the time spent. So then rather than saying for the X amount of lines I will do this much, that can leave you in a gap of selling yourself short, charging way less than what it will actually be. So that's why I went, right, how can I calculate to get to the fairest money point as possible per word? 40 to 50p per word of raw audio. That covers the time I've spent in my booth, along with how long it takes to speak these lines. Any additional editing, I do a similar thing of I double it, because that doubles my time. So I think if he, well, that's where I'm at the moment, Zamoody. I saw that face.
Well, you said double your time, but really it takes a lot. Usually it takes a
double
lot more
my
than
money.
double. But yeah. No, I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But I was just thinking, if he starts there, maybe that will help stop the exploitation of further things. Because it is down to that thing of someone's looked at it and gone, I can get him to do so much for so little. And if he sticks by his guns of, no, like we said, I am worth this amount of money. You can calculate exactly how much you can pay me for each script. And we can go from there. Then it leaves no wiggle room for this exploitation area, which I am learning.
And here's the problem. He has put a value on himself. His value is $5 for every 250 words.
But it's not. I'm sure it's not. He's selling himself massively short, but that's just me.
Right.
Hell, part of me's going, maybe we should reach out to him and go, hey, we want to talk to you and see how what's going on, man.
Actually, that's not a bad
just me.
idea. Yeah, we should.
If we can, I don't know. We should reach out to him, see if he wants to come on. That's just my idea.
Totally a good idea there. I love that. Looking at the comments for the most part on this particular Reddit post in here, let me go ahead and link this Reddit post on the chat.
Okay.
Okay, somebody want to read Raven Main's
I
point?
want to read it.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I'll read Raven Main's, but I'll also read the first comment because I like it.
Go for it.
Raven Main says, I'm literally at that exact point of burnout with community theater in New Jersey and have been there for 3 to 4 years. I go out of my way to not so much seek out projects as much as I seek out teams I enjoy working with. I'd rather work on a musical I fucking hate with people I fucking love than vice versa. which makes sense, and in this instance, really, if it's a project you enjoy, even if you're kind of being cut short monetization wise, that's not necessarily a terrible thing. I mean, it's you always want to do something you enjoy, but based on how you're describing this instance, it really sounds like it's more a ball of stress than it is enjoyment. So obviously you want to kind of, if it's going to stress you out, you probably want to get paid more for it.
Go ahead with the comments.
So the top rated comment on this post says, Pardon me, but fuck that shit all to hell. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yes.
He wants
Yes.
an on-screen personality. Let him go find one. Tell him so. That's ridiculous and it's absurd. You have your niche that you can have a life with. Never mind how many hits the channel gets and all of that. That's a distraction and none of your business, in my opinion. I personally edited copy for someone, and it was all last-minute deadline and pressure. I did it long enough to buy a better microphone and gave them 2 months' notice. My gut tells me it's a trap, which certainly can be. Yeah, and as was pointed out earlier, and in this comment, you can continue working it, for as long as you see fit, and then just let him go, or let the project go.
Let it go.
If you need money in the short term, makes sense. Like, we all do what we got to do to get by, but like, I don't see this as a long-term thing, because it's a very, very quick way to the road of burnout. That's for sure.
Yeah.
100%. One of the big problems, of course, is that there's so much competition out there, and you've got the sites like Upwork. I don't know if you guys have heard of this particular one, where it's like, instead of you putting yourself out there, it's kind of like a casting call club, but paid. There is, of course, voices.com, which thrive on the competition of everybody else. So everybody's underselling themselves. Everybody's putting that out, and that's hurting our ability to be able to make some sort of money out of this. Because now small developers or people like doing YouTube videos are going to pay, pennies on the word. And that makes this so much harder for us.
Strangely enough, I mean, that type of mindset hurts the voice acting community and it as a career overall. I like to relate it to the video game industry. Back, I don't know, quite some time ago, really, all testing for video games would be done internally. Mm-hmm. The companies would pay people to test their games, and it was mindless work. Like, you weren't there to enjoy their game. You were there to poke holes in it and try to find problems with it before it eventually sold on the shelves. But you got compensated for it. It wasn't the greatest compensation by any means, but it was still something. And now that has slowly transitioned to almost the exact opposite, where companies put out a game, allow you to pre-order it, and you get exclusive access to an open beta or a closed beta in which you essentially are testing their product for them, but you're paying them for the privilege. And I don't agree with that. I think it is a ridiculous practice in the video game industry, and it hurts my soul a little bit to see the voice acting industry almost going that same route. Like, it's just not okay.
Yeah, and they even did the same thing that happened with this case, when they did like some sort of reality show competition where someone could win a job to be a game tester, and it's like,
really,
no,
that was a thing.
Not a prize. That's a job. Yeah.
When was that?
Penny Arcade did a strip about it like 10-15 years ago now, making fun of the idea because everybody that they knew who worked in like game testing at that time was just like, you're left in a box and you have to test the same bit of the game over and over again and then write reports on it. It's grinding work. It's not like I'm in Hollywood now. It's not, winning X Factor. It's just getting a really menial job.
Yeah, and like I said, the compensation, like I've known enough people within the video game industry to know that you're almost working minimum wage. It's a tiny step above that, but like it would basically be maybe $10-11 USD an hour, but you'd have to be putting in about 60 hours a week. And you never had the opportunity for overtime after you get past the like 40-hour mark. So it was ridiculous. But like I said, now it's transitioning to the other way around, and then that's silly.
Raven Main's comment is good. Anybody want to take it? The game testing example comes from the side benefit of getting to watch firsthand as many of your suggestions go ignored.
Wrong.
No, not wrong at all. And it's funny because game testing actually does have a lot of similarities when it comes to voice acting, because you could very easily get burned out having to do this. Because in game testing, you have a script. Run at this wall for 30 seconds, run at that wall for 30 seconds, and you just do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. We tend to have to do the same thing in there, and we have to be very careful that we're not going to run into the same problem, because I mean, we get the feedback and we try to do it, and then we get in our own headspace and we can't do it a different way. So I see a lot of similarities in that.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing that to sort of put it into a different viewpoint of, there could be a mindset of, will this be worth it in the long run? He might be thinking, again, I know exposure doesn't pay the bills, but I mean, I'm not getting paid for Skyward. It's one of those things of, he's thinking, I'm not. The truth is, I'm not getting paid for it, but I see it as an investment in my future career for voice acting, and for me, I can see the value in doing this. And I'm wondering if he's thinking along a similar vein of, perhaps, yes, it's going to be a struggle and horrible. Like, starting any new job can be like that. Just like, I'm going to hate it for the first few months of doing this, but I'll get into the rhythm of it. And perhaps he could be thinking that way. And perhaps he's thinking, I'll get my voice out there on something that will have 1 million views, so a lot of people are going to watch it. And so there is that mindset of, is this going to help? Is this actually going to help? And there's that gamble there. So I think there might also, so perhaps he might be thinking about it that way. What would you guys say along that mindset about things?
It's
I will not
hard
be
because
offended.
you're still getting completely taken advantage of, and it's so hard to get past that point. It's great. Okay, great. Yeah, 1 million people are going to hear my voice. Am I getting credit for it in some way? I can tell you from some of the stuff that I've done, say it's got 50,000, 22,000 views. I have yet to hear a peep out of it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Fire and Brimstone says, as with all jobs, it's easier to get a VA job once you've done a VA job. And there's the catch-22 of our industry, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the same with any job. Like, your chances of securing employment are far easier once you've had secured employment.
Yeah.
You go for your first job not working anything before, and a lot of people are going to pass you by just because they do want someone with experience, which makes sense. But
the millennial struggle. Yeah.
What was that, Birnam?
That's the millennial struggle in terms of employment.
Yeah.
Must have a entry level job. Must have a university degree and 20 years of experience. Wait, what?
Yeah, and you're 22.
Yeah.
It's like, but you have the university experience, but you don't have the job experience. So but I feel like the other end of this equation in terms of the relationship between this person and the person who's hiring them is that we're talking about it. We're talking about this situation. We don't necessarily know which channel this is or the names of the people involved.
No, we don't.
But we're talking about it, and the channel, the person running the channel, doesn't really come across as good at all. All that this person needs to know is just speak honestly and give the names, and then suddenly that reputation is everywhere because we're talking about it. Lots of other people are talking about it. This entire Reddit thread's talking about it, and now that person's reputation is suffering all because they wanted to save a little bit of money. When positive relationship with the people that you're working with is priceless in the sense that you don't get that kind of negative reputation. And I wish more people would recognize that, both in terms of when you're negotiating for more pay in these kind of roles, and as employers, that you can get a negative reputation as an employer and that word will spread.
Because that links very closely to Stag's video on that, always asking if I'm not what you're looking for, is there anyone else who could use me? And having those positive interactions, be them that small, is what helps you to build a reputation, not for yourself and for others in the industry. And if those suffer, then your product will suffer in a weird way, like what you were saying, Birnam. So I just found that a nice interlink with one of our previous other things. I just sort of went, oh, that reminds me of that. So yeah.
Because sometimes it does feel like every employee is working really hard to develop good relationships with everyone else in order to build that reputation, and all the employers are just like, but I can hire if they don't work out, I can just hire someone else for buttons.
And let's not forget that you've literally, first off, Ravenman's point, don't forget the aggressive lowball wage. Can't forget the aggressive lowball wage. You've won the opportunity to be the voice, the face, and pretty much, the producer of this particular one. The only thing that the originator is giving is a script and the footage. So, I mean, who's doing the more work out of this? It's a very, very equal amount of work. You're editing, you're doing the script, you're recording, and you're now the face, and you're putting it all probably together or giving them the information, and you've got to do it right in one take. There's no way this 10 minutes worth of work has to be at least 2 hours worth.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
And if this person, if this person is actually managing to do this on that quick a turnaround and managing to make something that's a professional product at the end of it, I think he could just go to any other script writer and video editor and get into a positive relationship with them and make a much better product that would do a lot better and benefit everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
I've always found that the first take is rubbish anyway. The first take is when you get into it, but yeah, that's just my...
I was going to say, I mean, especially when it comes to showing your face on camera, providing a voice for a thing, and the person just kind of doing the behind the scenes work. I mean, not that I agree that this would necessarily be a good correlation, but you think about television shows, particularly talk shows. The hosts of those shows generally get way more money than anybody else on the show because they are the representation of that show. They're the name, they're the voice, they're the face. If you want to get into this line of work, like you have to be okay with saying, hey, I want more money. Like, it's not fair that I'm doing 5 to 8 hours of work just doing the recording of it in one solid take, providing my face, etc., for only $40. Like, would you, in a regular job, would you consider yourself working for 8 hours a day for only $40? That's not even enough to cover your rent for a month. And it's like you don't want to necessarily appear greedy to anybody, because nobody does, but you need to be able to put your foot down and say, I believe that I deserve this much. And if they're not willing to work with you, again, let the project go. There's plenty of other opportunities out there that you can find that will have somebody that is willing to work with you.
100%. Any closing thoughts on this particular? I mean, like I said, we've all been there. So we've all been on the other side of something that's morphed and changed, and all of a sudden is completely different. I know particularly, yeah. I mean, I know Renara's situation. I feel super, super bad because I initiated that communication between the two of them.
But if you hadn't, I wouldn't have learned from that situation, and I could have been in a worse situation. So honestly, no skin off my nose. It's fine. It's all good. Do not beat yourself up about it.
Especially when you're beginning, it's so hard to say no because you're afraid that you're going to get a bad reputation. And we know that the reputation is huge in this particular career path that we're all trying to do. So, yeah, you just got to watch out.
Reputation will come with not only the quality of the work, but the way you treat yourself and others. And I think that you shouldn't focus on trying to attain a reputation. That will come through your own work. And I think that's what a lot of people seem to. I must be applicable to all people, and you're not going to. You aren't going to make everyone happy.
Right.
You're not. You're not. So if you step away from a project and it's on. If it's on bad terms, then it's on bad terms, and it happens. It does. But at the same time, I think if there is what's the word? If I don't want to say the word justifiable. I hate that word. I really do, because everyone's justifiable is different. But it's that thing of you got to look at it analytically, and you got to go, is it quality over quantity. There we are. I'll end it with that little catchphrase: quality over quantity.
And it's funny because even in within voices.com, you see the rate is a lot better, but it's still sometimes you're going to see $80 a job for 10 chapters worth of stuff, and even those you kind of have to look at, and it's like, is this really worth it?
Then that's the balance of, is it worth it or is it not?
Right.
Money or time, sort of thing.
And I think, I'd like to reiterate kind of my point at the beginning in terms of the work that you put into realizing and monetizing an idea is worth more than the idea. I think all creative, my day job is essentially that. The nearest thing I have to a day job this now is taking old RP role-playing game adventures and updating them. So I'm taking someone else's idea and I'm spending a couple of weeks rewriting and recontextualizing and working on the core idea to make it work. That works in that works for acting, that works for writing, that works for cinematography, everything. And when people are hiring you to make their ideas happen, your work in making that happen is worth more than them coming up with the idea. That's just something we should all kind of keep in the back of our minds, I think.
By the way, I didn't know you did that. That's actually really awesome.
It's really cool. That is really cool.
Well, it's hopefully we're going to see if we can get our hands on Deep Dark Boy's information, and actually I love the idea. Let's see if we can get him on. We'll let him know that we talked about his topic, and
yeah.
I know next week we have, it's Barker VO, I believe.
Yes.
As our guest.
Baker.
I'm sorry, Baker.
Baker VO. Yeah.
Added an extra R. Sorry about that.
It's Barker.
Is Barker?
Is it Barker? Oh,
It is.
I can't read. That's not good.
Barker. I think there's more.
Barker?
Barker.
We'll figure it out by next week. So next week we also have Renara. Renara is going to be doing our intro.
Okay.
I just saw your
have a
eyes get
very
big.
busy week.
Yeah,
It's the thing of I am testing all week as well as making this and getting chapter 3 of The Assassin in the Desert edited. So I've just given myself a huge workload by accident. So I'm going to do it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Keep it. All right, let's make this next one a keep it simple type of thing.
I don't think simple's in my vocabulary, to be quite frank, but we'll try. We'll see.
If it isn't, what, 2 words, it's not a or two pages worth.
If it's not 2 pages long, it's not a Renara intro. Yep, that's
Nice.
that's the way it is.
Burnham, big thank you to you. Appreciate you as always being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully good luck with the TikTok. Hopefully you get that 1,000 follower mark so you can get the TikTok live. I'd love to see what those look like.
Yeah. That should be fun.
But if you have a chance, go ahead and follow Birnam at 20sided Mike on Twitter, or TikTok is at burnhamwood.com. BIRNAMWOULD. Sorry about that. Kisses. Keep it simple, stupid. I didn't want to call Renara stupid, so I kind of turned around and let me love that comment.
It's fine. I know Fire. He's called me worse things.
If you have any topics, any ideas, or any feedback that you would like in your particular audition, email us, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. Again, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. Thanks to those that were here, Raven Main, Fire and Brimstone, Magmorta, Crassy, all of you that talked about and asked questions or gave us comments. Always super nice to have you all on. We absolutely appreciate it. And yeah, other than that, I think we are pretty much set. I was kind of waiting for the music to end, but I can only vamp
I've got the
for
extended version.
Yeah, I can only vamp for so long. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for everything that you do. Appreciate y'all being here. And that's the end. Y'all have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Drink water.
Drink water every